welcome to 209coach.com. Today's video I want to do for you is on the pullback and how crucial it is for you to apply pullback and maintain pullback, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. You have to not only learn to pull back, but to maintain the pullback. Now, if you watch my videos, it's real important to understand that you always want to set up correctly, okay? And I always talk about this in my videos. You want to start with your hands between the neck and the deltoid. You want to have a lot of flexion in your arms. Now, some people start with their hands a little higher. Some starts with their hands a little lower. You don't want to start with your hands out here like a lot of players do. And the reason why is this already starts to create kind of tension. You can see here that I'm losing the flexion in my arms, okay? Other players sometimes start kind of like this when they set up. They feel really comfortable like this. When you do that, you're already putting yourself in some kind of a low position, okay? You don't want to do that. The setup is just what it is. It's just a setup where you should feel very relaxed. You should feel very comfortable. Now, when you set up, again, if you watch my videos, you want to feel like you're kind of starting in your back leg, and I brought this up before. You want to feel like you're able to do this at the setup. This gets you going on the back leg right away. Reason why is when you start kind of more like this, it makes it more of a tendency for players to kind of shift too much, or sometimes just kind of start lunging forward, okay? So once we have the setup correctly, okay, we're on our back leg. You can set up kind of like this, hands between the neck and the deltoid. From here, now as you lift the front leg, okay, as you lift the front foot, you should immediately start getting into a hip coil where your back pocket starts working towards the pitcher, okay? Now simultaneously, as you're getting into that hip coil, this is when the pullback should begin, because that's basically when you're going to start your forward move, or your body's going to start getting to a place where it's going to start kind of moving forward, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with weight transfer as long as you do it correctly. And by correctly, I mean you want to maintain the coil, you want to maintain the pullback as you're moving forward. As long as you're doing the moving forward while you're doing the hip coil and the pullback, you'll be perfectly fine and able to hit the ball with a lot more power than if you're not doing that, okay? So when you set up, again, you're setting up, all right, we got that foot in the where you're feeling this. Again, as we start to get into the hip coil, I'm going to lift my front foot. I'm going to start lifting my front foot, and I'm going to start coiling, and then pulling back. Now notice my elbow. My elbow is low right now, but it's going to start working back and behind me as I coil. Now I'm doing this very smoothly with very smooth tempo. I want you to do it with very smooth tempo. The more you can control this stride, the easier it is for you to wait on a ball. When players rush or have fast tempo, they tend to kind of start lunging. Now if you stay back, coil your back hip, and get into that pullback that I'm talking about, it's going to work like a brake mechanism, okay? It's going to help you to control your stride. Not only that, with the pullback, it's going to allow you to have a lot of coil in the upper body, just like you want the back pocket working towards the pitcher. That gives you a lot of lower body coil. Well, the pullback now, you're going to add the top hand pullback. I don't use my arms to pull it back. I use my top hand. It's a very subtle move. From 1 to 10, I have it like about a 3 as far as the grip. It's more of a technique than an abrupt move. And what you want to do, again, I would work with this at home, okay? Again, just kind of get the weight in your back leg, and as soon as you lift the front foot, start coiling and pulling back. Now you want to feel like everything stays back. Pay attention to my head, okay? You notice how my head kind of stays back over my back leg, okay? Notice my back elbow. My back elbow is working back and behind me, back and behind me. Now, if I don't have any pullback, watch what happens. Just say I do everything that I just told you to do without the pullback. Now I'm here, and I'm kind of stopping right here. Now, with my elbow down here, I don't feel any power. I don't feel any separation. You can see here, my shoulders are still pretty much pointing to the pitcher. Okay, now if you're doing that, you're not going to have any kind of that rubber band effect. Now, my right here with no pullback, my bat is kind of pointing in the direction of the pitcher. Now watch what happens when I start to apply the pullback. Okay, this is just by applying the pullback. Now my shoulders are pointing pretty much in the area of the second baseman. That's a lot more separation. The more the separation between the lower body and the upper body, that's going to give you a tremendous, that with the hip coil, tremendous amount of power when you get into your bat launch or you're snapping your bat back, okay? So what I would highly recommend for you to do this as a drill. Set up, again, you want to feel like most of the weight's in your back leg. As your hips coiling, just get into a real smooth pullback. Real smooth pullback where everything kind of stays back. Again, notice how I'm not lunging forward, okay? I'm not lunging forward. Watch my head, it kind of stays over my back leg, okay? And then from here, with the pullback, what you want to do is just get into that torso tilt. Many people feel different things. I feel like kind of a torso tilt. Some people feel like it's in the hip socket, where your hip socket is releasing, and the reason for that is as you get into the coil, if I lift my front foot, my front leg literally starts to unwind or pull me to the left. There's a lot of coil in the lower body, which gives you a lot of force or power in releasing it with the torso tilt. That's where you get that bat snap, okay, with the pullback. Because if you do not have the pullback, you are not going to have much power. And if you do, it's going to be very little, okay? You're going to deprive yourself of additional power. So again, we're set up, we're in the back leg, right? As we're going, we're getting into a real smooth pullback. Now, once you get into toe touch, what I want you to do now is maintain the pullback, okay? And I want you to keep the hands back, okay? And that's cause and effect because of the pullback. Now, watch where my palm's facing. It's facing right in front of the home plate right now. As I get into my torso tilt or my back hip socket thrust, okay? Watch what happens. It goes from here to here. Watch the top hand. It goes from here to here. I'm not even trying to let this happen. This is kind of a natural cause and effect, because if you pull back and then you go ahead and do the torso tilt with the hip socket kind of thrust, okay? However you want to do it, whatever produces this backwards tilt, okay? Which that's what you want. It's going to help you to stay back and have more of a kind of a merry-go-round swing instead of a roller coaster swing, okay? It naturally produces that very elite hand path that you see with the best players in the world. So again, we're here, and then just work on this. Watch what's going on with the bat. Palm down, palm up, okay? Palm down, palm up, palm down, palm up. Watch this. Now, notice where my bat is, okay? My hands are not here across my body, okay? It's here, and it's back here, back here, because of the pullback. If you do not have good pullback, if you do not maintain pullback, and I've worked with many players who don't have it, and when they come to me and I record them for the first time, they're basically doing this. That's kind of like, there's no power in that, okay? That's why you see the best players in the world. If you watch them in slow motion, go on YouTube. There's a lot of players that are MLB elite players, and you will see that they're pretty much all having their back elbow work up, back, and behind them. Their hand will go from palm down to palm up, and then you'll see that the lead elbow works up to the height of the mouth, and then they just hit to and through the ball. Now, this is a process, okay? Just take your time with it, but break it down, okay? Break it down where you're just staying back, toe touch, and then just do it nice and slow at first, where you go to pull back, right? Back elbow works back and behind you, palm down, palm up, palm down, palm up. That with the torso tilt, that with the pullback produces tremendous tremendous power behind you. Stay back in the back leg. Don't lunge as you do this. Work on all the aspects of a high-level swing, okay? And part of a high-level swing is staying back, not lunging, and applying elite pullback where the lead elbow works back and behind you, and you go from palm down, palm up, and the bat will snap behind you, and then from there with a torso tilt, it just takes you into the swing. I hope you like this video. Please give me a like, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.